Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Most historians agree Bonnie didn't join Clyde because of the thrill of crime. She joined him because she'd fallen in love. She wanted to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
But that romance got interrupted pretty quickly when Clyde, he was arrested and convicted of auto theft.
Oh, shit.
Now,
Was that just as bad as horse stuff back then?
right, so I don't think they're hanging you for stealing cars.
You think they would?
Well, though, while Clyde was in jail, Bonnie smuggled a gun to him.
Wow.
March 11, 1930, Clyde and a few of his cellmates used it to escape. Their freedom didn't last long, though, because within a week they were caught again.
Wow. Holy shit. This time the punishment, well, it was more severe than the last. Clyde, he was sentenced 14 years, hard labor. Sent to Eastham Prison. This is in April of 1930. Life at Eastham was hard. It was brutal. While in prison, Clyde ended up killing for the first time. I mean, I guess you had to, right? In a brutal prison like that.
Right.
He used a lead pipe to crush the skull of another inmate. His name was Ed Crowder. That's why Steven's so pissed off today, huh? A man who repeatedly sexually assaulted him. Oh, my goodness.
What happened?
Technically, that was Clyde's first murder. But another inmate, one who was already serving for a life sentence, took the blame instead.
He said, screw it, boy. You're going to get out and live your life. I'm already here.
Young boy, yeah, I'll take the rap.
Well, Clyde, he was desperate to escape the grueling farm labor. So in a move that is shocking as it sounds, he convinced another inmate to chop off 2 of his toes with an axe.
What?
The idea was that the injury would excuse him from hard labor in the fields.
That's not...
It worked.
Did it?
But obviously it also left him with a limp for the rest of his life.
Wow.
And here's the twist. Clyde didn't know that his mother had already been petitioning for his release.
Oh, no.
It's just 6 days after getting his toes chopped off, the petition went through and he was paroled.
Wow.
Happened February 2nd, 1932. I mean, whatever. He didn't know. What are you going to do?
Wow.
That's crazy.
When Clyde walked out, he wasn't the same man.
He had 2 toes less.
2 toes, and he murdered somebody.
Right.
Jeez. Fellow inmate Ralph Foltz, he later said that he watched Clyde change from a schoolboy to a rattlesnake.
Ooh.
Even Clyde's sister admitted something awful sure must have happened to him in prison, because he wasn't the same person when he got out. Once free, Clyde wasted no time. He and Foltz, they started committing a string of robberies. Mainly, they targeted little stores and gas stations and rural populations where they can easily get away. The big goal, it wasn't money. It was stockpiling enough cash.
Wasn't just money.
It wasn't just money. It was stockpiling enough cash and firepower to someday launch a raid on Eastham Prison. Oh, they had revenge on their mind.
Well,
Fucking prison guards were frightened.
trying to get his boys out, probably. Well, but not every job went smoothly. April 19th, Bonnie and Foltz, they were caught in the middle of a botched burglary at a hardware store in Kaufman.
Oh,
The plan was to steal firearms, but instead they both landed in jail.
wow.
Bonnie, she got lucky. She was released after a few months when the grand jury failed to indict her. Foltz, not so lucky. He was tried, convicted, and he served his time. He never would link up with the gang again.
Why the fuck is Bonnie and Foltz doing it?
Right. Meanwhile, Clyde, he kept pushing forward. April 30th, 1932, he acted as a getaway driver in a robbery down in Hillsborough.
Wow.
During the stick-up, the store owner, J.N. Boucher, he was shot and killed.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Even though Clyde had stayed outside in the car, Boucher's wife later identified him from police photographs as one of the shooters.
Oh.
Lying bitch.
Wow. While all this was unfolding, Bonnie was keeping her mind busy in jail by writing poetry. Just a few weeks after her release from the Kaufman County Jail, she reunited with Clyde, setting the stage for the crime spree that would make them legends. By the summer of 1932, things started escalating fast, because on the 5th of August, 1932, Clyde Barrow, along with Raymond Hamilton and Ross Dyer, they were drinking so much moonshine at a country dance in Stringtown, Oklahoma. What started out as a night of drinking turned deadly when Sheriff C.G. Maxwell and Deputy Eugene Moore approached them in the parking lot.
Oh, no.
All fucked up on shine. These boys are like,
Out of nowhere, Clyde and Hamilton, they opened fire. Deputy Moore, dead. Sheriff Maxwell, gravely wounded.
son of a bitch.
Moore became the very first law officer that Clyde and his gang would kill, but not the last. Just a couple months later, October 11th, they were accused of killing a man named Howard Hall during a store robbery in Sherman, Texas. But historians are split on whether it was actually them. Some consider it actually unlikely that Bonnie and Clyde were even involved at all.
Well, Okay, I'd like to see the evidence on that.
Around this time, the federal government started paying attention. Back then, it wasn't the FBI yet. It was still called the Bureau of Investigation, the BOI.
All right.
And what drew their interest was a small but telling piece of evidence.
Uh-oh.
A Ford automobile stolen in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. It turned up abandoned in Jackson, Michigan, September of 1932. Now, back in Pawhuska, investigators also found another Ford that had been ditched, and that had been stolen out of Illinois.
Damn.
Yeah, because they found receipts and fucking awesome.
Right.
Bonnie and Clyde were possibly could have been the dumbest criminals ever.
Yeah.
This is a thing that you guys are going to see in this era of what we're doing now. That all of these guys did some pretty dumbass things, and they were so sloppy. It's embarrassing.
Right, they're so dumb. So dumb. Agents started searching this abandoned car. Well, they found signs that had recently been occupied by both a man and a woman. Little personal items were left behind. But there was a prescription bottle that really blew the case wide open. The bottle led agents to a drugstore in Nacogdoches, Texas.
Sure.
This is where they discovered that the prescription had been filled for none other than, you guessed it, Clyde Barrow's aunt.
Oh.
Wow. From there, the trail got clear. Investigators learned that his aunt had recently been visited by Clyde, by Bonnie, and by Clyde's brother, L.C. Barrow.
Well, they're known as Buck.
Right. The three of them had been driving a Ford that matched the description of one that's stolen in Illinois. Empty prescription bottle, well, guess what? Turns out that L.C. Barrow had gotten it from the son of the woman who originally filled it.
So his cousin.
That was enough to connect the dots. From that moment on, the FBI, and soon the whole nation, was officially hunting Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Wow.
And then, right around Christmas in 1932, another player joined the story.
Who was that?
And that's W.D. Jones.
Oh, shit.
He was just 16 years old, but he'd been a family friend of the Barrow since childhood. He was still a child.
Right.
On Christmas Eve, he teamed up with old Bonnie and Clyde, and that very night, the three of them left Dallas. The next day, Christmas Day itself, they were already killing.
Oh, son of a bitch.
In Temple, Texas, Jones and Clyde stole a car from a young family man named Doyle Johnson. During the theft, they murdered him.
On Christmas morning? Come on.
Barely 2 weeks later, January 6, 1933, Clyde, he killed again. This time, it was Tarrant County Deputy Malcolm Davis. Clyde, Bonnie, and Jones, they'd stumbled straight into a police trap that had been set for someone else entirely. They didn't even know it.
Oh, wow.
By that point, the gang had murdered 5 people since the previous April.
Whoa. Wow. Jeez. Damn. Then here comes another turning point. Because on the 22nd of March, 1933, Clyde's own brother, Buck, he was granted a full pardon and released from prison. Buck and his wife, Blanche, soon joined up with Bonnie, Clyde, and Jones, setting up house together at a little hideout. This was at 3347 and a half Oak Ridge Drive. This is in Joplin, Missouri. Place is probably
YouTube video I just watched literally only like a week ago that some dude visited it, and it's all like preserved and all that shit.
I'm sure it is. Fucking people. Family members later said that Buck and Blanche, they weren't planning to stick around for the outlaw life. They had actually hoped to convince Clyde to surrender and finally give up himself to law enforcement. But in the meantime, life in that Joplin hideout was anything but quiet.
Yeah, this is how they're dumb, dude. The gang, they were rowdy. They held loud, alcohol-fueled card games that lasted late into the night in a quiet-ass neighborhood.
Right.
Blanche later remembered they went through a case of beer a day.
Damn.
The manhole came and went at all hours. And at one point, Clyde even accidentally fired a Browning automatic rifle inside the apartment while cleaning it.
Oh, shit.
Neighbors, they didn't dare approach the place directly, but the noise and the odd behavior didn't go unnoticed. Eventually, one neighbor reported their suspicions to the Joplin Popo, and that call would set off one of the most dramatic shootouts in Bonnie and Clyde's story, and it was a dramatic one.
Yeah. By April 1933, Bonnie and Clyde's little hideout in Joplin had already drawn way too much attention, as we just said. And then the police moved in, because on April 13th, a 5-man force split between 2 cars pulled up, thinking they were about to confront a bunch of bootleggers. But what they really found was the Barrow gang.
Yeah, right under their noses.
The coppers approached. Clyde, his brother Buck, young W.D. Jones, they all opened fire. Detective Harry McGinnis killed instantly. Constable J.W. Harriman fatally wounded.
Dead.
Bonnie Parker wasn't just a bystander either. She picked up a Browning automatic rifle.
A bar.
And opened fire, forcing Highway Patrol Sergeant G.B. Caller to duck for his life behind a massive oak tree.
I don't think he would have to duck behind an oak tree, but
The 30 caliber rounds ripped into the tree, spraying splinters in the sergeant's face.
Ugh.
Son of a bitch.
Jeez, in the chaos, Bonnie jumped into the getaway car with Clyde and the others. They even scooped up Blanche from the street. When her little dog got out, and she was an idiot chasing around the streets for it. Snowball.
Oh, wow.
Later, the surviving officers testified that in all the gunfire, they themselves had only fired 14 shots.
Oh, wow.
Still, those few rounds landed. One hit W.D. Jones in the side. Another struck Clyde, but was deflected by the button on his suit coat.
Oh, no shit.
And another ricocheted off a wall before grazing Buck.
Oh, okay, here you go.
Jeez. Well, they got away that day, but they left behind a treasure trove for investigators. In the rush to escape, they abandoned nearly all their possessions at the apartment.
Yep.
That included Buck's parole papers. Just 3 weeks old. They had a stash of weapons, one of Bonnie's handwritten poems,
Son of a bitch.
and maybe most famously, a camera with several undeveloped rolls of film, and that's where we get all the famous
Yeah.
Bonnie with the cigar in her mouth and pointing the gun at Clyde and all those famous pictures. That's where they come from.
Fantastic. I love it. Good for them that they did that. When the film was developed at the Joplin Globe, the photos were dynamite.
Dynamite!
They showed Bonnie, they showed Clyde, and they showed Jones posing, laughing, pointing guns at each other, smoking cigars, drinking whiskey. One photo in particular, they shot of Bonnie with a pistol in her hand and a cigar clenched in her teeth. It was sent out over the newswire. Just like that, old Bonnie and Clyde no longer just outlaws. They were front page sensations. The press couldn't get enough. John Dillinger might have had movie star looks, and Pretty Boy Floyd had a nickname straight out of Hollywood. But old Bonnie and Clyde, they had something no one else did. Illicit sex appeal. They were young. They were reckless. They were dangerous. And people assumed, of course, that they were sleeping together.
Of course they were.
The photos made them America's newest criminal celebrities.